What's the wildest moment you experienced in a hospital waiting room? It was during my son's last surgery, the one we weren't sure he'd survive. He was 16 when it started, just collapsed at school during lunch. One second he was laughing with his friends. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from the nurse's office. Ambulance, ER, monitors beeping. It took 10 hours of tests before the doctor sat me down, all grim-faced and too quiet. Restrictive cardiomyopathy. His heart was turning stiff, slowly choking itself. The only way out was a transplant. But then came the punch to the gut. The transplant wait list was long, and because of his age and how advanced the condition was, they said he probably wouldn't survive the year. I went to his room and told him the biggest lie I've ever told. You're going to be fine. 6 months tops. They'll fix it. He looked at me like he knew I was bluffing, but I pushed through, talking about college, about prom, anything to avoid the truth. That night, I started tucking him in again, just like when he was 5. Not because he needed it, but because I did. I wanted every second. That's when I noticed the sticky notes on his desk, his bucket list. Most were jokes. Kiss my crush behind the gym, sneak into a movie, but a few made my heart splinter. Strike my dad out in baseball. Have a beer with dad. Build a car for dad to drive when he's old. I stared at those notes all night, memorized them. Then I made a decision. I was going to make every single one happen. I picked up a second job waiting tables after my shift at the mechanic shop. Told my son I was working on a big project. I'd come home at 3 a.m., leave again at 6. No sleep. My joints ached like they were full of rust. Didn't matter. The first wish? Baseball. I called in some favors and got him onto the local field. They let him pitch. He was a natural, struck out every batter. And then I stepped up to the plate as the final batter. He burst out laughing after every pitch I missed, which was all of them. He hugged me so hard after, whispered, "Thank you," and ran to his room before I could respond. If I'd spoken, I would have lost it right there. Next was the beer. He took one sip, made a face, and said, "This is disgusting. Why do people drink this?" But he finished it. We clinked bottles, took a picture, and he printed it out and taped it above his desk like it was a trophy. A week later, he found my waiter uniform in the laundry. "What the hell is this?" he asked. I told him it was the neighbors. He gave me a look. He knew. Then, while walking to his room, he clutched his chest and collapsed. I drove him to the hospital with my hands shaking on the wheel. They told me his condition was worsening and wanted to keep him overnight. He asked to go home, barely speaking, always holding his chest. That night, I found another sticky note next to his bed. This one read, "I know why Dad's doing this. It's giving me hope." I locked myself in the basement and cried until I couldn't breathe. The next day, I quit both jobs, emptied most of my savings, left just enough to keep the lights on and cover the surgery if it came. Then I blindfolded him and led him to the garage. When I took it off, his eyes lit up, a broken down car, parts spread out, and a can of purple paint. "It's not much," I told him, but I was hoping we could build the rest of it together. He jumped in with both feet. Every day we worked, fixing, sanding, painting. We broke more parts than we installed, but we were building something bigger than a car. Then the call came. A heart had been found, a perfect match. We rushed to the hospital. Right before they wheeled him in, I bent down and whispered, "Remember, we have to finish that car, so don't give up." The surgery was high risk. They told me everything that could go wrong, and then they left me in the waiting room. That's when time stopped. I sat there staring at the chipped blue tiles on the wall, listening to the ticking of the second hand on the cheap plastic clock, my mind looping between panic and hope. Then the doctor walked in. He smiled. "He's fine." I didn't speak, didn't move. I just cried.